I've generated hundreds of thousands in revenue for my photo and video business using cold email, and today I'm revealing the strategy. This system took me from a struggling creative to a booked out professional. This is a 7-step system, so strap in because this has the potential to change the trajectory of your photo or video business. The way I built my client base at my photo and video company, PI Productions, is through cold outreach. And within 2 years, I had 50 brands under my belt, and 95% of them came from cold outreach. Today, I want to break down what a cold outreach system is, why it's my favorite way to build your client base, and how you can build one right now. Now, if you've tried cold outreach and it hasn't worked for you, this video will change everything for you. I will warn you though, cold outreach is usually a waste of time unless you're following a proven system. It took me close to 10 months of daily emails to actually get cold outreach to work for me. And I'm talking 10, 20, 30 emails a day. I run a free community teaching this stuff, so if you're serious about landing more clients, you can join for free in the description below this video. Now with cold email, there is a big problem. The problem is we're reaching out to strangers, people that don't know us, and we don't know them. So there are 3 things we have to overcome here. 1, since they're strangers, we don't have them in our address book. We don't know their email addresses, we don't know their phone numbers, we don't know how to get in contact with them. 2nd, even if we do find their emails, we don't have any trust built up yet. We are strangers to them, they don't know us, they don't trust us, right? So we need to build up trust. And 3rd, even if we do get in their inbox, even if we have some trust, well, a lot of the time they just simply don't reply. Maybe they're busy, maybe now's not a good time. So getting those replies is hard. And we need to overcome these 3 things. To overcome that first one, we need to find their email addresses. And to do this, we can either buy a list of emails, we can either scrape a list manually, or we can use a lead database tool to find thousands of emails of decision makers. Number 2, there's no trust. So we have to build up trust quickly. Now, trust in getting leads is kind of like this big spectrum. And on one end, we have cold calling. Now, cold calling, when you get a cold call from someone, you automatically assume it's a scam. Now, on the very far end here, we have referrals. When someone refers you to someone, there's a lot of trust built up already. Now, cold email is kind of like towards this side here. It's towards the left, so there's little trust. So we have to build up trust quickly, and we do this through building up our credibility on our website in the cold email copy and through the case studies that we've had. Lastly, we email people and they don't respond. Well, we have to follow up. We have to be persistent with our follow-up so that they actually see our email. If they get busy, they see the reminder email, so they're more likely to respond to our emails with a follow-up. Now, some of you are watching this saying, Chris, I've tried cold email, doesn't work for me. Well, I have some brutal truth for you right here. Cold email works, but how effective it is another thing. For one person, they can send 1,000 emails and get 1 response. Someone else can send 1,000 emails and get 200 responses. These are wildly different results. And I'm going to walk through the 7 steps of having a good cold email system that can take you from getting 1 response out of 1,000 to getting 200 out of 1,000 here. A cold email system has to be robust. You need to have multiple things in place for it to be effective. In fact, inside of my free community, I have a list of the top 19 mistakes I've seen my coaching clients make when writing cold emails, when building out a cold email system. And this isn't just like having a bad subject line. This is like not being authenticated properly or sending from your .com instead of your .biz domain, right? There's so many things that can go wrong with cold email. So I've compiled them into that document. If you want that, inside my free community, link below this video. But I'm gonna walk through my 7-step cold email system, and hopefully this is gonna really help you guys land in the inboxes, get responses, book calls, and close more deals. So step number 1 is to use a cold email sending domain. What does this mean? Most people have some sort of professional looking email domain, right? So like chris@pietaproductions.com, that could be mine. Now, what most people don't have is a cold email sending domain. So we want to have our main sending domain end with our company name.com. And we also want a cold email domain that's also our company name, but it has like a .biz or a .studio domain extension. The reason for this is we don't want to use our main sending domain because in case that gets marked as spam, we don't want our client-facing email to start going into spam. We want to have a separate cold email account and a separate main sending account. Now, you do not want to have a gmail.com address. Just get rid of that. That is not professional at all. You look like an amateur. So definitely get a Google Workspace address set up like that. Now, you can get this set up and still go to spam. So you have to authenticate it properly. What does this mean? Get your DNS settings set up correctly. This is your DKIM. This is going to be your DMARC setting, your SPF. Warm it up properly. Get all these in place, because if you don't have your email authenticated properly, it's going to go into spam and people aren't going to see your email. I've heard stories where people send hundreds of cold emails. They get no responses and they feel discouraged. They get imposter syndrome because they think it's their portfolio, or they think they're not good enough, when in reality, their emails just landed in spam. And I hate to see this because it sucks. There are so many talented creatives out there who aren't getting clients and they deserve them. So make sure that you're authenticated properly. Number 2, make sure that your website is cold email friendly. What does this mean? Well, with cold email, there's very little trust. And because there's little trust, you don't have the attention of your lead for a long time. So they get your email, they click into your website, and you've got a couple seconds here to keep their attention. So right away, you want them to see your portfolio. That portfolio should be at the top of your website. You want them to see it without having to scroll. If someone has to click to see your portfolio, that's already a mistake. You should not have to click to see your portfolio when doing a cold email strategy. Your portfolio should be right there, front and center, because we want to capture attention quickly. Attention is scarce, especially when trust is low in cold email. So we got to capture that attention quickly. Now, on top of that portfolio, you also want a headline. So in your headline, you don't just want to say photographer based in Chicago. That's vague. You're talking about yourself. You're not talking about how you can help the client. You want your headline to speak directly to how you help clients. So for example, you can say, I help increase sales for food and beverage brands through product photography. Right? That is a headline that clearly states what you do, who you help, and how you help them. So keep those things in mind. Who do you help? How do you help them? What do you do? Right? Keep that in mind for your headline. Now, for the third part here, you want to make sure you have a cold email friendly offer. What is this? A cold email friendly offer simply is the thing that you're selling, your service, your photos, your videos, the bonus deliverables that you give them. Maybe you include a mood board with every shoot. Maybe you have an onboarding call. Maybe you have a prep call. Maybe you have an onboarding form. Maybe you have a signature 5-step onboarding process that you do. Maybe they get 10 photos and a video, and whatever your package is, you want to have components of it on your website. Now, you don't want to include the price, and you don't just want to have it listed out one by one. You want to use your package, and you want to grab those components from there and write copy around them. So what does this look like? Let's say you have really fast turnaround times. Advertise that on your website. Maybe you include licensing for free in all your shoots. Advertise that. Maybe you have some sort of custom creative direction that you do with every client. Advertise that. You want your website to have components of your offer. You want good copy on your website that clearly showcases how you help the client. Now, a big mistake I see is talking about yourself too much on your website. Now, yes, the website is your website, but it should speak to the client, how you help the client, what results you produce for them, right? Now, the last thing you want on your website, and the last thing you want as part of your offer, is some sort of testimonial or case study section on your website. You want to have a section that talks about who you've helped, the results you've gotten them, and the case studies that you have. You want people talking about how great you are. All your 5-star reviews should be on your website. All these testimonials, slap them on that website. That builds your credibility, because the thing is, when sending cold emails, credibility is low. So you want to build this credibility quickly through those case studies and testimonials. Now, if you don't have any, do some free projects to build those up and then start doing the paid work. But you need some sort of credibility, because just having a website with photos and videos isn't enough these days, because anyone can do that. What clients want to hear is like, how easy are you to work with? Do you actually deliver the results that you promise? If you can do this, you're going to stand out. So those are the first 3 things we need. Now, number 4, finding thousands of potential leads to email. So we have our website set up properly. We've got the email text set up properly. We've got that great offer. We need to get this offer in front of people. Now, if you don't have an offer yet, go to my YouTube channel. We've got plenty of videos teaching you the offer framework, as well as in the free community. We've got plenty of videos there teaching you how to create offers and packages. But what we want to do now is get this offer in front of people. To do that, we have to find these people. So again, I talked about this earlier, but in order to find potential clients, you can either buy a list, so go on Upwork and you can buy leads from people. You can scrape this list manually, so go to Google and look up email scraper tool. You're going to find a bunch, and what this allows you to do is you can go to company websites and scrape the emails directly from there. or you can use a database tool. So look up lead database on Google, and there you can find hundreds of tools that are going to help you with this. And inside like a lead database, you can filter by a bunch of different categories. So let's say you're targeting marketing directors. You want to work with marketing directors in food and beverage brands in Chicago, Illinois. Well, you can actually search by all these parameters and it'll spit out a list of these marketing directors. You just grab their emails, plug them into a cold email system, and you can email them right there. Now you got these leads. What do you say in those emails? Okay, so the next part of the system is the actual cold email itself. So at this point, we've already walked through 4 things that aren't even the cold email itself. And what people do, they skip these 4 parts, and guess what? Cold email doesn't work for them, right? So we need those 4 things in place. So number 5 is going to be the actual email. So step 1 of your email is getting it opened. So that means you need a good subject line, a subject line that evokes curiosity, that forces the lead to kind of click it and open your email. So don't talk about yourself, talk about how you can help the client in your subject line, okay? Don't talk about your service, talk about the client's problems. So we don't want to say like photographer looking for work or videographer with some great ideas. That's a generic subject line. Don't make it generic, personalize it to that brand. So what you could do is do new ideas for Joe's Coffee. Here you've got something that evokes curiosity, new ideas, and then the custom company here, Joe's Coffee. And this works because you're a photographer, videographer with ideas for Joe's Coffee. You share them in this email, they open it, great. Once they open the email, the goal is to get them to keep reading. So step 1 is the hook. The hook in the email is super important. In fact, it may be what you should spend most of your time on here. The hook should be personalized to the lead here. The hook needs to evoke some sort of curiosity, show that you researched their brand, make it personal to them, and only have like 1 to 2 sentences in the hook as well. So keep it personalized, keep it relevant to them, and move on. Next is going to be your credibility statement. So the credibility statement talks about you. So finally, you can talk about yourself, but not in the way you might think. So you don't just want to say like, hey, I'm this photographer, I do great work, blah, blah, blah. You want to tie your great work back to previous clients you've had. So you talk about clients you've helped, results you've gotten for other clients in your credibility section. And if you do this correctly, you're going to be able to build trust quickly. The credibility section exists to build trust with your clients, to build trust with your leads who aren't clients yet, right? So you're going to talk about previous case studies you've had, previous results you've gotten, talk about how great you are and how great those results are. And then you can tie it back to the ideas that you may have for this lead. So this is going to be like 2 to 3 sentences. Again, it's going to be really short. You do not want to have like this huge long email because no one's going to read that. You want something people can consume in like 15, 30 seconds max. Now, after the credibility statement, this is going to be very important. You need to have some sort of call to action. You need to ask for something. You don't just end your emails without a question. You have to ask for what you want. And usually this will be a sales call. You're going to ask if they want to hop on a 10 to 15 minute call to talk through some ideas, right? Another thing you could do is ask if they want to receive some sort of valuable lead magnet from you. So maybe you've created some sort of guide, some value. Maybe you're going to do a website audit for them, whatever, some sort of value you can send over and ask them if they wanted that value. So you either ask for a call or for or if they want your valuable lead magnet, right? And that's kind of it. We have that subject line, we have the hook, we have the credibility, we have the call to action. And the whole point of this cold email is to get them on a call. The point of the cold email is not to sell them right here. You should not be selling on this cold email. You should be booking calls through cold email. If you're selling multi-$1,000 packages to a stranger via cold email, you're gonna get 0 sales. You need to build that trust continually, and we help build that trust on the sales call. So this video is not about sales calls, it's about cold email. If you need help with sales, check out my channel, check out the free community. We got stuff in there that's gonna help you. But once we get the cold email in their inbox, once they read the cold email, we have a few more things we have to do. So step 6 of this process is actually processing the cold email responses. So we send emails, we get responses from them. Some responses will be like, yes, let's hop on a call. Others will be like, no, never email me again. And there's a whole range of responses in the middle, like send over your pricing. We're currently working with another photographer. Now's not a good time. We'll keep your info on hand. No matter what response you get, as long as it's not a no, you want to push back a tiny bit here. So you're going to nudge them a bit and try and handle the response as best as you can. So you're going to acknowledge the response, you're going to tie it back to a case study that you had before, and then you're going to ask for the call again. You do this once, and maybe you're going to maximize the chances of you landing the call there. Okay. So the last part of the cold email system is actually booking calls. So if you get a positive response, they're like, yes, let's hop on a call. You don't want to just send a Calendly link. I know this is something a lot of people do. What you want to do is actually propose a couple times for them that work and send a Calendly link. So for example, they say they want to hop on a call. You can be like, hey, okay, cool. I'm free Tuesday at 2 p.m. or Thursday at 3 p.m. Do any of those times work for you? If not, you can use my Calendly link to book something at your convenience. So this way, you're presenting them a few options so they can just like say yes right away, or they can go through your Calendly link and book a call there. This is my personal favorite way of doing this because if you're just sending a Calendly link, you sometimes come off as entitled, which you don't want. So you want to propose those time slots like that. So at a glance, this is what a cold email system looks like. Okay, so at a high level, we've got the cold email domains. We've got the website set up properly. We've got the cold email offer. We found the leads. We actually wrote the email, sent the email, and got to our potential client. Then we processed those email responses, and finally, we booked the calls. So that is a 7-step cold email system. Now, this is very, very basic. I mean, I could talk about this stuff for hours, and in my paid program, I have like a 4-hour course just talking about cold email itself. So this stuff I can spend forever talking about. I want to be cognizant of your time here, respectful of your time here. So that's why I have today. Now, I want to leave you with a few more things. So we talked about sending cold emails. Your first email usually won't get a response. So what you want to do, you want to follow up twice to every single cold email you sent. One simple follow-up, again, asking for the call, and then a secondary follow-up, maybe drop a case study in there. Again, ask for the call because brands actually want to see you being persistent. Your first email usually isn't going to land you a client. It's going to be that follow-up email or that second follow-up that's going to land you a client. So with that, if you want more help on cold email, join my free community, and I will see you next week.